Our ride engineers, basically, who help us in designing the actual physical ride, calculate all sorts of loads and speeds and the physics, basically, that's required to take this train through the ride. The story of this ride, Rock and Roller Coaster, is really about mixing light, music, and motion together in a single experience. This vehicle, which we call the Sound Tracker, basically, we wanted this vehicle to look like it was alive. It has equipment on board it. It has right here an active, what we call VU meter, which is registering the levels of the music. And basically, you're strapped in this vehicle, and this takes you on your journey into the attraction. The technical innovations, I think, are primarily in the launch. The launch is extremely thrilling. It's exciting. It's an acceleration from basically launch all the way to the end of the tunnel. The guests will experience very strong forces, but not overly so. It's just to create excitement. Comparison would probably be a modern Formula One racing car, which would have about the same sort of acceleration.
Nous vous demandons de garder les bras et les mains à l'intérieur du train à tout moment. Merci.
Timing. Timing is the biggest challenge for this, for the design, because the vehicles are moving so fast and they're twisting and turning and they're flying through the truss and over the truss and around the building. To design the lighting to be effective and to move, you have to know exactly where the vehicle is and what it's going to look like to the guests. We spent the first several weeks of programming just trying to figure out where the vehicle was and how to have the lights come up and move, and then move on to the next effect. In this particular attraction, we have over 300 moving lights within the attraction, and in a typical concert, you might have 50 to 100. So it's a huge challenge to do a huge over-the-top light show, and you've got about 50 seconds to do it. We're working on 8 DMX universes, and we're working on 2 lighting consoles running those 8 universes of DMX, which means we have control channels, 512 control channels per universe times 8. And that's a lot of things to control. And I have a very experienced lighting control programmer who works with me, who does concerts. And it's a real partnership between us to create this. And I work on the creative side, and he's the one who figures out the channels. The great fun of programming this is that we have the 2 control consoles in the Gravity building in a booth where we talk directly to the lighting and program right there. But because we're on the floor and we're looking up several 30 meters into the air, we actually need to stop, come out, ride the vehicle, and actually see it from the guest point of view. We have 5 different soundtracks and 5 different vehicles and 5 different lighting programs. And since it's the same ride track, we needed to create 5 different lighting shows. And we did that basically starting with a color palette for each of the 5 songs. We started with the 5 different lighting programs by giving them nicknames. So I have one song that I call the Hoochie Coochie song, and I have another one that's called Starry Night, after Van Gogh's painting. So we kind of started with those sorts of concepts based on listening to the music over and over again. I've been listening to these song cuts for probably 3 years now. the best thing is when we have guests who come over to ride, and I mean guests as in other people who work on the project right now, and to ride with them when they're riding it for the first time.